At this track, the rules dictate the race.
Oh, we have a problem. He goes to the outside. Is Edwards going? Oh, no! He turns him. No!
The cars run around here in huge, fast packs. It can be thrilling to watch until something goes wrong.
Oh, there's contact. Get out of you now. Stewart into the middle of the pack and over.
This place can chew you up and spit you out in a hurry.
This is a 200-mile-an-hour pressure cooker.
If you can stay in touch with that lead draft, you can go to victory lane.
Reckon. Yeah, baby, yeah!
Nestled in the city of Lincoln, Alabama, on top of the Anniston Air Force Base sits the most intimidating racetrack in all of NASCAR. 500 miles of hold your breath, edge of your seat action. Because this is more than just a race, this is Talladega. And MDK RaceDay is proud to get you ready for the 2020 YellaWood 500 from the Talladega Superspeedway. You could not ask for more perfect weather, temperature in the high 70s with only a 10% chance of rain and only 2-mile-per-hour wind north of the racetrack. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the MDK studio. My name is Jett Carlson. Welcome back to the episode of MDK RaceDay. Today we're going to get you filled in for the 5th race in the 2020 NASCAR playoffs, the 2020 YellaWood 500 from the very fast Talladega Superspeedway. Last weekend at Las Vegas was the opening round of the round of 12, and we saw a surprise winner take home the checker flag, and that was Vegas native Kurt Busch. He scores his first win of 2020, but most importantly, he advances on to the round of 8. So basically, he was probably the only driver that slept good last night before racing here today at Talladega. Here's a look at the playoff grid entering Talladega, race 5, race number 2 of the round of 12. So we know Kurt Busch, he's already locked into the round of 8. Behind him in second place, Kevin Harvick has a huge gap, plus 61 above the cut line. Behind him in third place has been his rival this entire year, is 11 car Denny Hamlin, plus 58. And then we start to get into the bit of the danger zone. From Keselowski on back, they are really close when you think about it in terms of how Talladega is and the racing that it produces. Keselowski only 16 points above the cut line in 4th place. Behind him, Martrix Jr. 1 less point ahead, 15 plus. 6th place is Joe Logano, the number 22 car, after a horrible race last weekend at Las Vegas. He's now only plus 11. Chase Elliott in 7th place, plus 10. And Alex Bowman holds the final spot, currently in 8th place, plus 9, ahead of Kyle Busch, the first one out. Clint Boyer in 10th place, minus 20. His teammate Eric Almirola in 11th place, minus 27. And dead last, or at least 12th in standings, Austin Dillon, minus 32 points. And now let's take a look at the odds to win today's event. Ryan Blaney, who has won the last 2 Talladega races, is on top of the board with the bet shot at winning, plus 1,000. His very good friend in Chase Elliott, also plus 1,000. Joe Logano, Denny Hamlin, and Brad Keselowski, all 3 really good on the super speedways, have 1,100 points. Plus 14 for Eric Almirola, Kevin Harvick, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. looking to change his season around. He runs really good on the super speedways, has won at Daytona and Talladega, both in 2017. Kyle Busch plus 1,500. He needs a good day in order to turn around his playoff hopes. And his brother Kurt Busch, riding high off of his win last weekend at Las Vegas, he enters into this race plus 1,600. Martrix Jr. plus 2,000. Alex Bowman and Clint Boyer plus 2,200. Teammates Jimmy Johnson 2,500, while William Byron has plus 3,000, as well as the 20 car of Eric Jones. And Austin Dillon and Ryan Newman, all 2 of them, both run with a 3,300 plus in the bets. Now, the usual saying at Talladega is, if you're in it, you can win it. It doesn't matter how you start, it's how you finish. Regardless, it is still important about track position and trying to stay up front. So here's a look at the 39 drivers that would compete in tonight's YellaWood 500. On the front row is Denny Hamlin on the inside lane, and to the outside is last week's winner, Kurt Busch. Row 2 has Martin Truex Jr. and Alex Bowman in the 88 car. Row 3 has Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch, still winless in 2020. He starts in the 6th position. Row 4 has Penske teammates Brad Keselowski and Joe Logano, both 2 very successful on the super Speedways. And right at the top 10 is Clint Bowyer and the Spring 2019 winner, Chase Elliott. Row 6 is Eric Almirola. He won here back in the fall of 2018, and Austin Dillon in the number 3 car. Row 7 has Matt DiBenedetto and the 12 car Ryan Blaney, who won the last 2 Talladega races, starts in the 14th position. Row 8 has Chris Buescher in the Sunny D Ford and Eric Jones in the Sports Clips Toyota. Row 9 has Jimmy Johnson competing in his final Talladega start, and to his outside is rookie Cole Custer. Row 10 has Ryan Newman and Matt Kenseth and also his final Talladega start, and Row 11 has William Byron, number 24 HendrickCars.com Chevrolet, and Christopher Bell in the Rheem Toyota. Row 12 has Front Row Motorsports teammates John Hunter Nemechek and Michael McDowell, and Row 13 has JTG Daughtry teammates and Ryan Preece and Ricky Stenhouse Jr., the Spring 2017 winner. Row 14 has Bubba Wallace in the number 43 car and Ty Dillon driving the 13 Geico Chevrolet. Row 15 has Corey LaJoie and rookie Tyler Reddick, and Row 16 has Daniel Suarez in the 96 and rookie Brendan Poole in the 15 car. Row 17 has rookie Quinn Houff and the 27 car J.J. Yeley. Row 18 has yesterday's Xfinity Series winner Justin Haley in the number 77 car and Joey Gase in the 51 car. Row 19 has Timmy Hill and James Davison, and competing in his final NASCAR start is the 62 car of Brendan Gaughan. Okay, so now with that out of the way, what can we expect from this race at Talladega? Well, first of all, take a look at the racing we expect to see. Ever since NASCAR implemented this low horsepower, high downforce package in 2019, on the super speedways at least, it has been phenomenal racing. There's not been, in my opinion, a dull race since 2019 Geico 500 when NASCAR implemented this package. On tracks like Daytona and Talladega, it has just been flat out so much fun to watch. So we know more than likely the excitement level is going to be at a very, very high level. However, one thing we can expect is manufacturer teaming up. Back in the day, it was every man for yourself, every driver for themselves. Then it slowly turned into teammates working together, and now it's manufacturers working together. You're going to see Chevrolet drivers of Hendrick, JTG Daughtry, Richard Childress Racing, and others team up. In the Ford camp, you're going to see drivers like from Team Penske, Stuart Haas, and Matt DiBenedetto from the Wood Brothers teaming up. More than likely from the Toyota drivers, you're not going to see them teaming up together. You're going to see them probably working with the Chevy drivers, probably working with the Ford drivers, because if you think about it, there's only 4 top guys in a Toyota car, and that's all from Joe Gibbs Racing. And speaking of Joe Gibbs Racing, I want to focus on 2 drivers. Number 1, Denny Hamlin, who is right now one of the best drivers on the super speedways. 3-time Daytona 500 winner, won the 500 earlier this year. He is one of the best drivers, if not top 2, really battling with Kevin Harvick for the best driver right now on the 2020 season, I should say. And we've always seen Denny Hamlin be one of those drivers that is either all the Chevy drivers and Hamlin, all the Ford drivers and Hamlin. Hamlin has always found a way to be up front, and I expect no different here today. However, his teammate Kyle Busch, I'm kind of worried about him. Kyle Busch is the first driver out, 9th in points, 9 points behind. And when you go to a track like Talladega, it's not been too kind to Mr. Busch. He only has 1 win in his entire Cup Series career at Talladega, and that was back in the spring of 2008. As a matter of fact, not only has he not had much success at Talladega, he hasn't managed to find the finish line as often at this racetrack. He has been caught up in accidents or has had some form of incident that prevented him from finishing a race. Being 9 points below the cut line, Busch has got to be very, very careful. Make sure he has at least a solid day. Make sure he gets to the finish line, because you do not want to go a track like the Roval, where Busch, even though we've only raced there, I think, twice, he hasn't had much success. Both victories, or one went to Ryan Blaney, the second win went to Chase Elliott. He hasn't won at that track yet. And we've seen Kyle Busch not been having the type of season where we expect him to be up front every week. So a track like Talladega is going to be very, very important for him. If he gets a good race weekend and manages to put himself inside the top 8, then he can have a much more calmer, or at least a easier day at the Roval next week. But if not, then Busch is going to be in a major hole in order to find a way to lock himself into the round of 8 after the Roval. Now, when you look at the Chevy drivers, you look at possibly William Byron, who won the last Super Speedway race here back in Daytona in August. Chase Elliott, a former winner at Talladega. Alex Bowman has also run really good on the Super Speedway races. You also look at a driver from JTG, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Now, Stenhouse, he goes into Talladega, in my opinion, with the mentality of he either wins the race or brings on the steering wheel. He was 7/1000ths of a second from winning at Talladega earlier in the year. We know he can win at this racetrack. He won here back in the spring of 2017. He has won at Daytona also in that same year. So we know he can run well at the super speedway tracks. It's just a matter of getting there to the finish line, because we have seen him make some, let's just say, head-scratching moves throughout his tenure at, or at least in his final years at Roush Fenway and his tenure at JTG. We have seen him make moves that are like, what are you trying to do? You trying to kill someone in the field? But that's the mentality Stenhouse has, and that's why I think if Stenhouse can make it to the finish line, if he's there at the end, he's going to be a big factor in determining who wins this race. If not, he's probably going to crash before stage 2. And now we go on to the Ford camp. We look at Team Penske, Brad Keselowski, Ryan Blaney, and the 22 of Joey Logano. Brad Keselowski, even though he hasn't won at Talladega, or at least I should say won at Daytona or Talladega, in a pretty long time. I think since the fall of 2017 was the last time he won at back then a restrictor plate track. But he is still one of the best out there, I feel like. And Brad Keselowski right now, he's very comfortable. 16-point gap ahead of Kyle Busch. You know he's going to be really good there at Talladega because of his teammates. I know him and Logano and Blaney, they're going to be working together along with other Ford drivers. And we know how good the Doug Yates engines are run on the big high banks of Daytona and Talladega. So I think Keselowski is going to have a really strong run here today. As well as you look at a driver like Joey Logano, got off to a rough start last weekend at Las Vegas. Currently 11 points above the cut line, but he is a former winner at Talladega, won here back in 2018 in the spring, and won here in the fall of 2016. We know how good he can be at the super speedway tracks. And then we look at Ryan Blaney. Now, Ryan Blaney, he is out of the playoffs at the moment. The first 3 races were just horrendous, but still, he runs good at Talladega. He has won the last 2 races at that track, and both of them, he won by 7/1000ths of a second. The team really needs a boost at the moment. They started out strong at the beginning of the season, but ever since, I want to say maybe around June is when they started to fall off. A win, or at least a good run at this track, I really expect it from this team because they know how to run good on the super speedway packages, both Blaney himself and the entire Team Penske organization. So I expect Blaney to run well and possibly have a shot at winning this race. And finally, don't count out Aric Almirola. He won here back in the fall of 2018. Almirola knows how to run well on the super speedway races, so he's another driver to look at. And again, like I said earlier on, if you're in it, you can win it. So you can look at all those drivers as well as the other 30 drivers I didn't mention, because every single one has a shot at winning this race. And also, every single driver has a shot at getting caught up in the big one. We know with this package and all the aggressive bumping that we're going to see in this race, more than likely we could see the possibility of a big one taking place. Obviously, with the playoff drivers, except for Kurt Busch, they're going to need to be on the lookout for that one to try and escape all the chaos and be there at the end. As for my pick to win, I have no freaking clue who's going to win this race. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I think if you were to tell me 2 or 3 years ago when this package was a lot more predictable, I could give you a race winner. But now I can't. There's too many drivers. Too many drivers have a shot at winning this race. So I'm just going to say, you know what? The winner of this race is going to be you guys. It's going to be the fans. I think the fans are going to see a very fun race, very exciting race. And hopefully it will provide a lot of action, and it's going to shake up the playoff grid a lot as we head into next weekend's Round of 12 finale at the Charlotte Roval. But that is going to conclude this episode of MDK Race Day. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like and tell me in the comment section down below, who do you think is going to win this race, and what do you think is going to happen in today's race at Talladega. But until next time, my name is Jack Cross from MDK, and I'll see you guys next time.